Coming up on this edition of Sports Extra, the men's basketball team makes national news for not celebrating the title.
Another tough loss in Keenan hurt like Bell for the football team.
And ladies and gentlemen, start your engines and get ready for an adrenaline rush on twin bikes.
All that and so much more as Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Another Monday, another football loss to simmer about. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Abby Presley.
And I'm Bailey Ingalls. But before we get to the gridiron, the men's basketball team made headlines during the weekend for actions off the court. The Tar Heels men's basketball team has chosen not to attend a celebration of their championship at the White House due to scheduling conflicts. Carolina has won 3 championships in the past 12 years, and this marks their second time under Coach Roy Williams the Heels did not accept an invitation to the White House, the other being in 2005 during George Bush's presidency. We talked to some students on campus for their reaction.
I'm disappointed that they decided not to go. It's kind of telling that they had scheduling issues in '05 and this year, whereas in '09 when Obama was president they were able to go. So I certainly think there's more to it than scheduling errors.
I think it's up to them and their political views. It's definitely bold, but I know some other athletes have been doing that too.
Well, I'm impressed by the team, and first of all by all of them being together in their decision, not just one person going, 2 people going, whatever it may have been. So I'm very impressed in their togetherness with the team and also with the decision itself. It's very important nowadays to make the statement.
We've yet to receive an official statement from Chancellor Carol Folt about the scheduling difficulties.
We've all heard about games that were a tale of two halves. This one was a tale of two Chaz. Holding to form, Surratt and the Heels balled out in the first 3 quarters, highlighted by this 45-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Anthony Ratliff-Williams with seconds to go in the first half. Surratt totaled more carries and yards than the rest of his team combined, gaining 56 of his 67 yards on the ground right here off this scramble that he took all the way to the house. And folks, I think Surratt has been hitting the weight room too. Watch as he scrambles out of the pocket and throws a measly Duke defender to the ground right in front of his bench. Get off me, little boy. However, here comes bad Surratt. Just down with just a little more than 4 minutes left in the game, Surratt makes an ill-advised heave that gets picked off by Duke's Brian Fields Jr. and returns 61 yards for the pick 6. Duke goes on to win the game 27-17 and keeps the victory bell for another year. Another gut-wrenching loss for football and another batch of hot takes coming from football analyst Michael Coe. Michael, what's on your mind this week?
Abby, this might be the hottest take of all, but I don't think this team is actually that bad. The Heels are just unlucky. Going into the season, we knew the offense would be depleted with the losses of Ryan Switzer, Mac Hollins, TJ Logan, the list goes on. But what we didn't know is that this team would be banged up beyond belief by week 5. As if the loss of Thomas Jackson last week wasn't enough, this week the team lost receiver Austin Prohl for the foreseeable future after the senior broke his left clavicle on a long catch early in the game. Prohl was supposed to be a leader on the squad, and his loss will be felt keenly. And then Prohl's replacement, redshirt freshman Rontavious Groves, went down with a knee injury late in the game and had to be carted off the field. We'll just have to see how the team moves on from these devastating blows. But if you're wondering how the offense moves on in 2017, look no further than number 17, Anthony Ratliff-Williams. We've seen what Ratliff-Williams can do on kickoffs, but on Saturday the sophomore proved he has receiving chops as well, with 2 huge catches on Carolina's touchdown drive at the end of the first half. Ratliff-Williams ended the game with 5 catches for 125 yards, an average of 25 yards per reception, and looks to have a much larger role in the offense going forward. And in week 3 against Old Dominion, the running game was a force, with Jordan Brown and Michael Carter both finding pay dirt. But against Duke, as against Louisville, the running game just could not get going. Carter and Brown could only manage a combined 41 yards on the ground against a ferocious Devils defense, the top-ranked unit in the nation by FPI.
The Carolina defense will have to play well from now on with all those offensive injuries you mentioned before. All the Heels can do is keep playing. Michael, do you have a prediction for this weekend as the Heels take on Georgia Tech?
You know, Abby, I hate to be a downer here, but I think the Jackets will be just too strong for Carolina on Saturday. I think the Heels can keep it close, but I just can't see UNC winning this game. And if the Heels lose, they'd have to run the table against their remaining FBS opponents to even be bowl eligible, an almost impossible task.
All right, telling it like it is, that's football analyst Michael Coe in studio. Thanks, Michael.
And here's why that task would be almost impossible. 3 of the Heels' remaining FBS opponents are ranked in the top 25, and half of those upcoming games are on the road. Among those ranked opponents are number 22 Notre Dame, number 12 Virginia Tech, and number 14 Miami. The matchup against Virginia Tech is on the road, and the Heels also have to travel for games against Pitt and rival NC State. Following a lackluster start to the season, Carolina will need to put together a strong showing down the stretch to salvage this season. Prior to the game on Saturday, Carolina had already scored a victory against Duke in the recruiting wars. Natalie Harden has more about a former Devils commit who's now the Tar Heels signal caller.
There was a twist to the Duke-Carolina football game when redshirt freshman quarterback Chaz Surratt faced Duke for the first time since he decommitted from the Blue Devils back in the summer of 2015.
I like Duke a lot. It's a really solid program, so at the time I felt like I wanted to go to Duke. You know, I had a lot of respect for Coach Cut. I think he's really good when it comes to quarterbacks. I know he's building something special there. I had a really good bond with the quarterback coach, OC, Coach Montgomery, and I just felt like it was a good fit for me at the time.
But soon after making his commitment to Duke, Surratt had a change of heart regarding where he would further his football career, committing to the lighter blue.
I think the biggest thing is in my heart, I felt like I wanted to end up at Carolina. I grew up a Carolina fan. I really had a good relationship with my quarterback coach, Coach Hagendorf. So I think that's the biggest 2 things, really.
Surratt tries to implement confidence in himself and his fellow teammates.
You know, I just try to come out and be better every day, gain more confidence in the system, try to listen to my coaches. At the end of the day, it's all about wins.
Surratt says his switch to UNC felt natural, that he always had an instinct this is where he truly wanted to be.
Ultimately, just like that's where my heart was going. I was leaning towards in my heart to come to Carolina. I loved it every time I visited.
Carolina coaches are delighted Surratt decided to come to UNC and expect big things from him the rest of the season and beyond. I'm Natalie Harden reporting.
Carolina hopes to see more of Surratt's talents on the field this season. Fans are sure glad he didn't don that darker shade of blue.
With a 5-game winning streak on the line, the number 7 UNC men's soccer team traveled to Charlottesville on Friday night to play number 9 Virginia. It was scoreless for the majority of the match until Virginia freshman midfielder Joe Bell broke the tie with this strike from just outside the penalty box in the 53rd minute. However, the Tar Heels responded in kind as Alan Wynn answered with a goal of his own just 5 minutes later, tying the match at 1. The game went into overtime, concluding with this game-winning missile from Jelani Peters, and the Tar Heels escape in a nail-biter 2-1.
The number 8 women's soccer team was in a tight one with the Clemson Tigers on Thursday night. After several missed opportunities, the game was scoreless until the 77th minute. That's when Madison Schultz's shot smacked the crossbar, and Dorian Bailey was there to clean up the mess. In the last moments, Samantha Leshnak had this controversial save, appearing to be outside of the box. Leshnak sealed the game by stopping this breakaway with just seconds left. Let's watch that again as she gets to the ball right before the Clemson attacker does. It was North Carolina's 2nd straight win against a ranked opponent. And Sunday against Virginia, it didn't take long for the number 11 ranked Cavs to take a 1-0 lead on this goal by Montana Sutton. But with 20 minutes remaining in the first half, the Heels answered with this shot by freshman Alicia Russo. 3 minutes later, the Heels shocked the Cavs with a 2nd goal, this one by Dorian Bailey. Now let's see this again. In a beautiful 1-2, Bailey receives the assist from Bridget Andrzejewski, her 2nd of the game, and it puts the Heels up 2-1, and that's your game winner. Women's soccer has a long tradition of excellence in the Triangle, and this season that tradition carries on onto the professional stage. Cole Valena has the story from Carrie.
Middle of the field. A couple of fakes, a chipped ball to the backside!
After a 15-year absence from the Triangle, the North Carolina Courage is back, and the team has wasted no time in picking up where the old Courage left off. The team has topped the National Women's Soccer League table for almost the entire season, a feat that fans like Ebony Christmas say has been inspiring.
There's nothing else the Courage want to do except for win. they're an all-or-nothing group. I think Coach Paul Riley calls them junkyard dogs for a reason. So they got that scrappiness to them.
Coach Riley might call the team junkyard dogs, but one of them has another name. Tar Heels.
Palmed away by Harris. Chance for McDonald. She scores!
Forward Jessica McDonald, the NWSL's #2 all-time leading goal scorer, was a key part of UNC's 2008 national championship run. For her, this season has been a welcome return home.
Just sort of living in the Triangle area, absolutely phenomenal, and being able to play in front of my alma mater has been kind of thrilling.
McDonald says the team's hard work has bred confidence.
It's very comfortable, obviously, being in this position that we're in. We worked so hard to get where we are today, but the crazy thing is, like, even though we're sitting at #1, we still have room for improvement.
Just one game separates the Courage from a regular season title.
The fan base is anxious because they're like, well, what can this team do? Can they repeat? Can they continue to amaze us every week? And yes, they can.
The players believe that too. In Cary, I'm Cole Villena, reporting.
The Courage will look to close out the season as champions this Sunday at 7:30 in Cary. Coming up next on Sports Extra, don't call it a comeback.
The volleyball team rose from the dead against Louisville Sunday.
We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Trying to turn around an unexpectedly disappointing start to the season, the volleyball team traveled to Reynolds Coliseum to take on the Wolfpack Friday night. NC State started out firing on all cylinders, winning the first 2 sets with huge plays, including kills like this one. The State fans were loud and fired up after the Wolfpack went up 2-0. But Coach Joe Segula wasn't about to get swept out of Raleigh. The Heels won the next 2 sets with dynamic plays such as this one to force a deciding 5th. However, State came out strong in the final set and never looked back to defeat the Heels 3-2. And on Sunday, it was looking like another rough match for the Heels against Louisville. The Cardinals were raining down nasty kills from the middle and took sets 1 and 2. The Heels defense was still weary in the second, but in the third, Carolina's endurance kicked in and the Cardinals started to crumble. After winning the third, the Heels hit full stride and showed up to play. Look at this massive hit from Holly Carlton as she shocks the Louisville defense in the final set. Serena Hull with a huge block to put it away. Heels win.
It was an up-and-down weekend for the volleyball team, and here to give us an inside look at the team is volleyball analyst Peyton Walker, live from Carmichael Arena. Peyton, what do you have for us?
Sports Illustrated,
Thanks, Bailey. I have a story for you that rises above the rest, and it's about a player who rises above her teammates. While the volleyball team is off to a rough start this season, Holly Carlton thinks her fire can make the difference. Blake Morgan has that story.
You might not know Holly Carlton by name, but you'd know her if you saw her. At 6'7", she's the tallest setter in the ACC by more than 4 inches.
I don't know if I'm just not the same physicality as them or what, but I think that I play like a short player. I think that I bring in some other attributes.
And those attributes make Carlton the ultimate combo player as both a setter and an opposite hitter. USA volleyball officials noticed that when they selected her for the U.S. national team last summer. Unlike a school team, USA volleyball doesn't have practices.
We met in Costa Rica, all of our teammates. I didn't know the teammates before I got there.
That was no problem, though, as Carlton and the team took home gold at the U20 Pan American Cup and 7th at the World Championships. This season, the Tar Heels haven't been as lucky. Currently 4-6 and tied for last in the ACC. But Carlton isn't worried.
We've had a lot of lineup changes and have already gone through a lot of adversity, which I think will make us stronger in the end. So I still have very high expectations for the ACC tournament, for the NCAAs.
No matter the outcome of the season, Carlton still has 3 more years at UNC. Once her time is up, she hopes that volleyball still plays a large role in her life.
I can't say that I have a clear vision of what I want to do, but I know that my love for the game is strong and that I have great potential and great people surrounding me to help me continue to grow in the game. So I would love to maybe play overseas, maybe pursue something on the beach, or maybe pursue something with USA.
As for where she plans to buy pants that are long enough?
Nowhere. You wear boots on top so people can't tell how short they are.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Blake Morgan reporting.
Holly Carlton and the volleyball team return home on October 6th to take on Duke. As for playing for Team USA, the jury's still out on Carlton's chances at Tokyo in 2020, but I'd say she has as good of a shot as any. Bailey, back to you.
That's volleyball analyst Peyton Walker, live from Carmichael Arena. Thanks, Peyton.
There's a second volleyball team on campus, but these men and women would be more at home on Wrightsville Beach than inside Carmichael Gym. Here's Colleen Brown.
The new UNC Club Beach team runs around covered in sweat and sand on a daily basis. Co-president Crystal Molnar.
It keeps me active, even though it's completely fun, and you never think about the hard work except for when we are doing conditioning.
Beach volleyball has exploded in popularity in recent years, both nationally and at UNC. Co-captain Willa Ma.
I really like it because it's more about strategy. I can still win and I can still be a good beach volleyball player and not be super tall or hit really hard.
Right now, the team plays 3 to 4 tournaments a semester, like this one in Cary. They compete against other college teams, adult teams, and sometimes each other, but they don't let competition get in the way of team bonding.
It's everyone on this team is honestly best friends. Just I don't know, there's days where you come out here and it's a beautiful day and everyone's laughing and joking, and you just take a step back and you're wow, this is something that I helped create, and that's really an amazing feeling for sure.
One thing's for certain, the new Club Beach volleyball team is out in the sand, passing expectations, setting standards, and killing the competition. In Chapel Hill, I'm Colleen Brown reporting.
What a great sport. Sun, sand, competition, and a great tan. All of my favorite things.
Coming up next on Sports Extra.
The field hockey team seems to really enjoy playing in overtime matches.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Trying to build on the enormous success they've enjoyed in recent years, members of the women's tennis team headed to Malibu, California for the Oracle ITA Masters Tournament. 2 members of the team were among the top 8 seeds. Number 8, Sarah Davatilla, and number 6, Alexandra Sanford. Top seed Ina Shibahara of UCLA knocked Davatilla out in the quarters, but Sanford avenged her teammate by defeating Shibahara in the final, winning the 3rd set in a dramatic tiebreak. Meanwhile, at the Furman Fall Classic in Greenville, sophomore McKenna Jones won her 2nd straight tournament with a 3-0 record. She defeated Petra Granick of the University of Texas to win the Flight 1 singles championship. Jones is undefeated on the year, sporting a 6-0 record.
In a rematch of the 2015 National Championship game, the field hockey team traveled up to New York to take on Syracuse on Saturday. It was a slow start for both teams, but just before halftime, senior Gab Major got the scoring started with this tip-in off the Ashley Hoffman shot. Ava Vantahoog made the score 2-0 16 minutes into the second half, but then Syracuse on this counterattack gets within 1. And then, with no time left to play, the Orange scored the game-tying goal off the corner. To overtime it went, but not for long. Vantahoog scored her 2nd goal of the game, giving the Heels a 3-2 victory against the Orange. It didn't get any easier as the team stayed in a New York state of mind to take on 20th ranked Albany. The Great Danes' Katie McCallum scored the game's first goal in the 64th minute, but UNC's Gab Major quickly responded with the goal just a minute later. Junior Malene Everett scored 56 seconds into overtime to give Carolina a 2-1 win, the Heels' 2nd overtime win in as many days. UNC improves to 9-2 on the season and takes on Old Dominion next Sunday.
Would you put in 20+ hours a week for something that earns no academic credit and for which there's no athletic scholarship? Luke Buxton found a super committed group of guys who would and do.
The UNC men's rowing team is at the club level, but the guys have the same level of commitment as athletes in a varsity program.
So we have practices 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 6. That usually runs till about 8 in the morning. And then we have practice Monday through Friday in the afternoon.
After waking up at 5:30 to come see the rowing team practice, I drank 3 cups of coffee and still fell asleep in my English class. Which begs the question, why do these guys practice so much?
To win, and to be with these guys.
Which they do. At Acra's, the rowing team's national tournament, the varsity 8 team placed 5th in the pair team year in UNC men's rowing history. One of the reasons the team is so successful is coaches like Adam Cottrell, who volunteers his time to help the team get better.
I like working with the guys, so I think it's really intense what we do. Like, you know, it's 8 times a week, and the races are really intense and they're really hard, and everybody works really hard.
Although the sport is challenging, for some rowers, it's almost therapeutic.
Coming out here in the morning, and it's peaceful out here on the lake, and just coming in and getting some good strokes in with these guys, it's like no feeling I've ever experienced.
Men's rowing team members might not have a huge fan base, be sponsored by Jordan, or receive scholarships to come row at Carolina, but these guys practice and prepare like athletes who do receive those perks. This year, the team has one mission: win the national championship. In Chapel Hill, I'm Luke Buxton reporting.
The team opens up the season on October 21st, competing in a regatta in Boston. Team dues help pay for the transportation.
Twins, a sibling rivalry, and getting down and dirty on the track.
How can you beat this combo of heels on wheels? That's next on Sports Extra.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
We all have a touch of competitive spirit, or maybe a lot of competitive spirit.
Especially when it comes to trying to beat your brother or sister. Reporter Sarah Willie takes us inside her revved-up sibling rivalry.
Motocross. Because besides rushing Franklin for the national championship, nothing gets your heart racing like seeing a 30-minute board go sideways.
Adrenaline rush, always a little bit nervous before the race, but when the gate drops, you just forget all about that and you just concentrate on going as hard as you can to that first corner. Hopefully you don't run into anybody and go down, but no, it's nerve-wracking, but it's exciting at the same time.
Call us crazy, but we find all of that kind of relaxing.
No matter how crappy my week was, I can come out here, put on my gear, ride dirt bikes, forget about it for a couple of hours, just have a good time.
To us, it's like a quick getaway from reality with some good folks.
Track's a good spot. It's out in the country. The people there are very helpful. They're good folks. If you've got a problem with your bike, folks will chip in, try to get it running. It's just a bunch of good old down-to-earth folk.
Don't let all this fool you. It's a lot harder than it looks.
A lot more exercise than people think. Riding a motorcycle is hard work.
Especially when you're competing against your sister.
It's definitely a lot of work.
Sorry about that. We have a little bit of technical difficulties. But you know, Abby, if I was to ever ride a motorcycle or try motocross, I think I would end up with a broken neck, not just because I don't know how to ride a motorcycle, but because my siblings and I are just too competitive.
I can't argue with that. I'm the same way. Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Good night.